In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Commander Faie for the Legacy Collection. I'm pretty sure he's Build-A-Droid figure number 24 in the line, just after Stas Lee and the Imperial Engineer that I reviewed previously on the channel. So Commander Faie might be the most interesting clone trooper to ever exist in Star Wars. This guy really does not have a particular loyalty to any particular legion. In fact, he has his own battle group, which has a combination like 501st. He is associated with Bogey Squad, and I think for a time, more so than any of the other legions, he serves under the 7th Legion, which there is a 7th Legion clone trooper out there in the 30th Anniversary Collection. I have not gotten that one yet, but that is one that I've been eyeing for several years now at this point. Commander Faie is also a very sadistic clone commander, and when Order 66 is initiated, this guy is fully on board with it, and he is committed to hunting down Quinlan Vos, who is the Jedi that he mainly serves under, and also Luminara Unduli. So very interesting character. So I've had this particular version of Commander Faie ever since he was released. In fact, he may have been one of the very first Legacy Collection action figures I got at the time. Not the first or second one, I know that, but probably within the first 5 to 10, I would say. So I've had him since 2009. So 15 years now at this point. So this particular version of him, I think, is more of a concept art. I think he might show up in the comics like this every now and then, but for the most part, it's like a abandoned concept that I think was supposed to show up in episode 3, but it never did. So pretty interesting gear. He kind of reminds me of like Commander Keller here from the Galactic Marines, where it's kind of like his cold weather gear, I suppose. He has the hood here, and then kind of a unique helmet, and then of course he has the poncho or the cape to go along with him, basically. There is another version of Commander Faie out there, and he came in a comic pack with Quinlan Vos. I do not have that particular comic pack, but I do have the next best thing. That's this Bogey Squad one here, and he's very similar to this clone trooper here. The only real difference is I think he has, obviously he has a different head, and that particular version of Commander Faie does have a unique head as well. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty much about the same. I know a lot of people tend to mix up the regular clone trooper here from the Bogey Squad pack and then Commander Faie. And that's another pack I plan on getting at some point. And I'll bring out Quinlan Vos here. This is the TVC one. Interesting thing about this as well, so once Order 66 is happening, Commander Faie's main objective, especially after Commander Gree was taken out by Yoda, he is fully on board to hunting down Quinlan Vos, especially, and he ends up threatening an orbital bombardment on Kashyyyk in order to draw him out. And then Quinlan Vos finds out about this, and he ends up revealing himself to Commander Faie here, and then similar to Commander Gree, he ends up chopping his head off. So pretty interesting. I actually didn't find that particular bit of information out until recently. I always kind of figured Commander Faie went on to serve in the Empire and ended up being a very respectable stormtrooper or something like that. What else can I say about the Faie here? I guess we'll just take a closer look at the figure. So, like I mentioned, this looks very similar to something you would see, in cold weather gear. He has this molded hood here, which is totally removable. Take that apart here in a second. And it's probably one of the best molded hoods that I've ever seen Hasbro make. It doesn't look bulky, it doesn't look out of place, it fits like a glove. It's perfect. And it's a perfect combination of plastic and soft goods here. Obviously the poncho is soft goods, as you can see. And as you can see by his colors here, this is very similar to what we see in the 7th Legion. one of these days I'll have to hop on and go ahead and get a few of those guys. So like I mentioned as well, Commander Faie is probably one of the most unique clones out there, and his armor is like no other clone, quite frankly. His helmet is unique, as you can see. We'll just go and take this off now. Kind of similar to the clone engineer from Battlefront 2, I think. But it's not really a helmet we see on clone troopers very often. Unique detailing in it. It has green lenses instead. He has the brown dot there. And just an interesting design overall. It kind of looks like a Dark Trooper a little bit too. That's what it reminds me of. And you can take the helmet off. And to continue with that uniqueness, he has the crew cut there, which is a unique hairstyle we never see on any other clones, as far as I can recall. I don't think I have any other clone troopers that have this type of hairstyle. And that's probably one of the best clone head sculpts I've ever seen. Paint is very crisp. Has a very similar likeness to Tamora Morrison. Looks great overall. That helmet fits on like a glove over his head too, and you can't see his chin or even tell really that he has a woven helmet. The shoulder armor there is pretty unique, as you can see. And his armor underneath, as far as I can tell, it's kind of similar, but not 100%. Pouch there. It's the communicator. I'm trying to see here. I know there's a way you can take this apart. Yeah. And for his legs here, I think this is pretty much a retool or a reuse. This leg here is slightly different. There's little straps around it, which look like they might have some extra magazines. As far as his poncho is concerned, it's a pretty good material. A little bit frayed in some areas, I think, but gets the point across. Looks good. In terms of articulation, it's the same exact articulation that we would expect from clones at this time. He has a ball joint the head, hinged shoulders and elbows, swivel wrists. Yeah, I think we'll say swivel waist, swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles. In terms of weapons and accessories, besides his hood there and his helmet, just has the standard DC-15 rifle there, which Hasbro, yeah, his hand falls out every now and then. Hasbro ended up strapping down into his left hand, so perhaps Commander Faie was left-handed. Something else unique about him. And besides those three parts, of course, he comes with a Build-A-Droid part, and in this case it's the Death Star droid here again, but the part he in particular comes with usually is the torso. I have seen some samples of Commander Faie on eBay where it comes with different droid parts, mainly astromechs, So I imagine depending on the batch you get of particular characters, they end up having different Build-A-Droid parts. But the original one that he comes with is the torso here. As I mentioned in the Stats of Lee video, she ends up coming with the left arm here. And we'll go over the other figures at some point for the other parts. Well, but other than that, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Commander Faie. Like I said, probably one of the most unique clone troopers and clone commanders out there. So would I recommend him for your collection? I totally would. I think this is normally the clone commander that most people go to starting out when they're beginning a clone trooper collection. It seems to be the trend that I've noticed over the years. And he's a clone trooper that's been with me for 15 years now. He's one of my favorites, still remains one of my favorites to this day. And despite the many clones we've gotten over the years, he still remains as one of the most unique ones out there, and probably one of the best looking ones. So if you're just getting into clone trooper collecting, I think this is a great first start. He's not the most expensive on eBay. Most of the prices seem to be in the $20 to $30 range, which I think is totally worth it for this character. And even if you've already been clone trooper collecting and you still don't have this guy in your collection, I think it's about time you get him. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. Always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you have not done so already. As always, thanks for watching.